I talk a lot about how to be a good leader, a good manager, a good supervisor, a good boss, a good employee, good in customer service. But there is another piece in the customer service equation that sometimes we don't talk about, and we don't ever really teach people how to be a good customer. My experience comes primarily from being in the IT department, running the help desk, running the service desk at an organization. If you work at a company that has an IT department, or maybe it's just one guy, IT Bill, and that's who you call when you have a problem, you still are that person's customer. The IT department, their customer is the organization. So you at one point or another will have to be a customer of your IT department. Maybe you're a student, maybe you're going to college and you're on campus. You're likely dealing with IT in one way or another. I have taught, coached, managed IT workers on how to handle customers for years, but another thing I like to do is I like to teach customers how to best interact with your IT department and what you can do to not drive your IT person crazy. One of the most simple things you can do when you have a technology issue, report it. It's important to report any technology issues or outages quickly and through the appropriate channels so your IT department can address them as quickly as possible. We want you to get back to YouTube work as soon as possible. And when you report an issue, make sure you're giving good information. We don't expect and we don't want you to use jargon. We don't want you to even know what all the terms mean or what they mean together. I don't want you to tell me what specs your computer has when you call in before you even get to the problem. I just want to know what the problem is. What is happening? The more specifics you can give, the better. Don't say it's broken. What's broken? My computer. Okay, what's broken about your computer? It's not working. Okay, what's not? Are you logged into your computer? No. Okay, what is it you see on the screen? Well, I'm looking at my email. So you are logged onto your computer. You're looking at your email. Is your email working? No, I can't log into my email. Okay. Great, now we know what the problem is, but it took me a little longer to get there because instead of you starting what you were looking at, it's not working, it's broken, I can't log in, because you thought that would get you faster service. That actually slowed me down. If you would have said, I'm looking at my email and it doesn't look like I have an email coming into my inbox, immediately I know the next step to take, and I wouldn't have had to ask you all those questions to get to that point. What is happening? What do you see on your screen? What is the exact error message? When did it start? Are others around you experiencing the same issue, or is it just you? That's a very important question for an office setting. I have had people call in and say things like, my email's not working, I can't send an email. Okay, well, is anyone else around you experiencing the same problem? I don't know. And we find out there was an outage in that section of the building, and everyone in that area had the same problem. If they would have said, yeah, I asked around the office and everyone seems to be having the same problem, that's something we should probably look into, because this might be a part of a bigger outage. Don't wait to report an issue. Don't assume someone else has already reported it. Many times what happens is people are, oh, there must be an outage. I can't believe there's an outage. And then they talk to the people around them. Can you believe that there's an outage? I can't believe that there's an outage. Can you believe there's an outage? And the IT department is sitting down there. We don't know there's an outage because maybe the outage was localized to just your area, just your department, just your office, and no one bothers to call the IT department. Hours go by, and eventually we get a phone call. Our network has been out for hours. Aren't you going to do anything about it? Did you call? How are we supposed to know that something was broken if you didn't tell us? We can't fix it if you don't tell us. Don't assume that we know. There are times that we will set up, or our network team will set up something on the network to alert us when there is an outage. If it's something obvious and there's an outage, then yes, we have sirens, bells going off, lights everywhere. I know that there's an outage in this area. I know that there's an outage over there. But sometimes outages occur that don't trigger those alerts. So it's very important that if you see something, you call in. You're not waiting and you're not assuming that people have already called in and reported it. Don't complain about IT to the people around you before you even have talked to IT. In fact, never complain about the technology your company uses. You should never demonize the technology your company uses. You don't know who might be in earshot. When I worked at the college, I had potential students and their parents walking through on tours, and there were a few times those tour groups would walk into an office and hear someone complaining about the technology on campus. There was a professor who told incoming students, making a joke, but these incoming students didn't know that because they're from the outside. He was making a joke about how the IT department still forces them to have chalkboards in the classroom instead of dry erase boards. A, IT has absolutely nothing to do with that. B, the IT department had been pushing facilities, departments, and faculty and staff to get rid of those chalkboards because the chalk was creating dust, which was destroying the computer equipment we were putting in the rooms. And you had this professor telling people that our IT department is so out of touch, they don't even know how to upgrade chalkboards in the classroom. That joke might have been well placed among people from the college who had been there, who understand the joke he was making, but with people who were from the outside who had it come in, I heard about that, and I actually heard from students who chose not to come to the institution because a professor made a comment about how the IT department is so out of touch. It's important to never complain about the technology your company uses. There are people with a lot more time, education, invested into vetting, choosing, deciding solutions that are most appropriate for you and your organization. Maybe it's cost effective and meets 80% of the needs. They couldn't meet 100%, and maybe it doesn't meet 20% of your needs, but your IT department is not the ones who are out to get you. Lose the victim mentality. It's not a good color on you. Your IT department is there to help you, and there are people who are trying to put stuff in place so you can get up and get back to work. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. And please remember, when you're having technology issues, make sure you're calling your IT department as soon as possible and let us know what's going on.